Thanks, Tom.
We're just trying to make sure that other candidates aren't present. They can be, but we prefer not to because it gives them an unfair advantage then.
Makes sense.
Right,
But we can't prohibit them from being here.
right. But out of sensitivity, we hope that they'll compromise and sit outside. But thank you for coming, for your interest in the District 2 vacancy. We'll ask you a list of pre-selected questions that the committee has put together, and we have allotted 20 minutes for each interview. We are conducting 8 interviews this evening and 1 on Thursday evening. You are welcome to stay after your interview to observe the rest of the interviews, but we would ask that you do not share the questions asked tonight until after Thursday when we conduct the last interview, and the committee will take the next step in the process, which could range from selecting the final person for appointment by the Common Council or narrowing down the candidates for another interview. Our city administrator, Rebecca Grill, and Steve Bratz, city clerk, will contact you regarding the next steps in the process. Please be cognizant of the time limit, which will be 20 minutes, as I indicated to you, for the interviews, and provide complete, concise answers if you can. The first question will be asked by our Common Council President, Tom Lysick.
How do you view the role of an alderperson?
I view the role of the alderperson as a liaison between the members of the district and the Common Council, someone who seeks out the opinions of those that live within the district and make sure that those opinions and that voice is advocated for within the Common Council. I also see that person as a representative of the district, if you will, like the face of the district, the person that is out in the community, representing the district in a professional and proactive way.
Mary, what characteristics, qualifications, and experiences, excuse me, I just ate M&M's. I'll start over, Mary. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. What characteristics, qualifications, and experiences do you possess that make you the most viable candidate for the position?
I feel that the strengths that I bring to the table include a strong background in strategic planning. I spent an extensive amount of time reviewing the city's strategic plan and feel that many of my skills would align nicely to some of the strategic actions. I'm a strong collaborator. I am an excellent communicator, both verbally and written format. I follow through and am accountable to the things that I say I'm going to do. I have a strong understanding of collective impact, which is a framework that uses a common agenda in order to leverage multiple community partners to reach goals and to be able to unpack complex social issues in a way that can then be successfully navigated into positive solutions. Additionally, I'm proficient in multiple facets of technology. I am well versed in adult and children learning methods, which I thought lended itself nicely to the strategic item action step of the City 101 Academy. I'm really excited to be a part of that and to help promote our city and re-image it in a way that's positive. Most importantly, I think I'm really approachable. I'm very energetic. I am enthusiastic. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to ask questions, and I am excited to take on this role.
Have you ever previously considered running for alderperson? If you have, why haven't you run?
I have not previously considered running for alderperson. I have considered running for school board. I felt that as an educator, I have a good lens and understanding of that facet of government. When this opportunity presented itself, I thought that it would be a great way to get more involved in the community. Previously, I haven't run because I've been slightly intimidated by the campaign process. So this was a nice step into this this avenue that I hadn't previously tapped into before.
Thank you.
What do you feel is the most significant shortcoming of our council?
I feel that the most significant shortcoming may be I feel that there could be a need for multiple voices represented across a more diverse population of people. And looking at the demographics of our city, we are represented by multiple ethnicities, races, genders, and I feel that having a stronger cross-sect of those would lend itself to different perspectives on things and potentially unpack issues in a way that we might not think of from the lens and biases that we bring to the table ourselves.
The city is in a stage of redevelopment. What areas of District 2 do you believe have the greatest need? And do you feel the Common Council has correctly handled economic development in the city as a whole?
So I think within District 2, the biggest concern on my mind is the continuing development of Greenfield Avenue and our Main Street downtown area. The vacant storefronts are a concern. In wanting to advertise and bring people into the community, you want to make sure that it is fully, there's services fully available to people and that you have things, that there aren't vacancies within the storefronts. I think as a whole, though, in reviewing the strategic action around economic development and sustainability, I think the city is on the right track and the Common Council obviously driving those efforts. You see the development of the conference center and the expansion there to coordinate effectively with the Expo and State Fair. You see multiple events being held within the State Fair Expo building. It's not just a one-time event. I know that there's been heavy recruitment in order to bring small businesses into the area, and you see that by some of the restaurants that have been coming in, the development and restructuring of the Kmart for Hobby Lobby. Lots of those different things are happening. So I do think that the efforts that we're making are driving us forward, but there's still more work to be done.
Mary, do you understand the time commitment required for an older person with meetings, constituent interactions, and general community involvement? And do you have the time and flexibility to accommodate this schedule?
So I do believe that I have an understanding of the time commitment. I'm aware of the Common Council meetings. I'm aware of the need to be committed to additional committees as well. Currently, my role is a full-time position with the Milwaukee Public School District, but I do think that with my evenings being free, I have ample opportunity not only there but flexibility in my weekends to be able to go out and talk with constituents, be responsive, and then also volunteer and be more proactive in the community. I'm really looking forward to getting involved with things. I think I haven't played as active of a role in our community as I would like, and that's something that I look forward to shifting in the future.
Do you have any conflict of interest that we should be aware of?
I do not believe so, no.
Thank you.
Is there anything in your background for which you would like to provide an explanation for?
Yes, I believe that the role that I currently have with Milwaukee Public Schools is a role that would easily have skills that would easily transfer into supporting my work as alderperson. We do a lot of strategic planning and coordinating with multiple community partners. We have to determine which key levers are going to make the biggest impact in terms of student attendance, student academic achievement, and school culture. I work across multiple buildings, very diverse communities, 2 bilingual schools, 2 schools on the north side of Milwaukee, and a high school. I coordinate with multiple people, multiple teams. I work as a facilitator, a collaborator, a coach. We are very driven by the outcomes since it's privately funded, and so there's a lot of stake in the game for us to be successful with the project. And I feel that same sense of urgency within our district and within our city here, knowing that we have some tangible measures that we want to pursue, and making sure that we are on the timeline and trajectory to do so within the confines of our 2020 deadline.
What is your opinion of the city budget and taxes, and do you have any ideas to share?
This may be the area where I'm going to have to do some more research and reading and ask you to be the experts to help onboard me, as I'm not entirely familiar with all of the nuances of the budget. But in terms of taxes and being a homeowner myself, I feel that we, as a city and community, offer excellent housing at a rate that property taxes are reasonable for many families to be able to afford. It's one of the reasons that I moved into West Dallas. My home is a property that far exceeded properties in other communities for the price point that I was looking for. I feel that we allocate our taxes appropriately whenever we've had an issue come to the foreground in terms of being on the ballot for us as constituents to participate in. I feel that they've been reasonable, fair, and productive for the city.
Mary, how would you as an alderperson support the strategic plan goals, mission, and vision of the city?
So I have a number of ideas in unpacking the strategic plan. And I felt that my skill set would lend itself nicely to supporting those goals. The first one is the reimaging and rebranding. I really think that it's important that we continue on this path of adjusting the previous understandings of West Dallas and some of the branding into a more positive light. Having done a little bit of research on our social media currently, I noticed that we have a Facebook page, and I feel like we could really come up with an interesting hashtag campaign to bring more attention into the city. I think we can play on the all in the West Dallas piece and talk about how we can incorporate more people. If you look at the stories like People of New York and those types of things, in order to shift the narrative of our city, we have to introduce people to why it's such a great place to be. And so if we could do a People of West Dallas campaign and start really telling the story of those of us that live within the community, I think our image can really shift towards the positive. People understand why this is a place to come to, why this is a place to invest in as a homeowner, and why it's a great place to raise a family. In addition to that, I think another piece that I would do a great job, as I alluded to earlier, is the City 101 Academy. As an educator, I am extremely passionate about communicating new information to people in a way that is reachable to them. So I notice that we get a lot of correspondence through the mail and written, which is great, because that's going to be one set and one way to reach people. There's other ways to reach people through multimedia presentations. There's through lots of the apps, like the Nextdoor app is hugely used here in the district, and I think there's lots of ways to reach out to people and that have been untapped that could potentially draw more people into being more active in their community. I also looked at strategic action 3.8, the one on creating neighborhood association councils. That's another one that really interests me. I feel like we have this fantastic community and we network frequently digitally, but not always in person, which is fine, but how do we really boost the understanding of who's living around us and with us so that we can look out for one another? And so I think by fostering the additional support system through the neighborhood association, we can really reach out to people and have a stronger representation of voice at the table, in addition to reaping the benefits of having people look out for one another. In terms of strategic goal 5, excellence in government, having worked extensively with establishing and unpacking standards of performance through the educational lens, I think that my skill set would help in the construction of the standards of performance that we're looking for here within government. I would want to promote creativity, efficiency, and effectiveness in these goals, and make sure that I'm still promoting excellent customer service. It would be important to me that there's a feedback loop for people, so once they understand those standards, that they also receive ongoing support and feedback around them, and an understanding of what the expectations are as an outcome. And so I think those would be the pieces within the strategic plan that I would look forward to supporting, in addition to the others that are there.
Mary, describe a time where you have experienced exercise discretionary judgment, an issue or test that was before you.
Well, as an educator, you're frequently asked to make decisions on the spot, and many of them have to do with relationships between not only families and yourself, but also their children. And so I think in terms of using judgment, that would be the place that I would draw on. Finding out and digging deeper to the two sides of the story when you have kids arguing, and determining what is a fair and equitable consequence for the person who has made the negative choice. I think it's important to listen first and seek to understand the place people are coming from, and then determine next steps with things using your best judgment.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the committee at this time? I
guess what I would like to share is that I'm really excited to serve this community. My father always said, in order to be a leader, you have to serve, and that's where my heart is at. I serve within the school district, and I want to take those skills and transition them into our district. I want to have a more active voice in our community. I want our city and district to be successful, and I really believe strongly in the strategic goals that the Common Council has put forth, and I feel that I would be a great asset in driving those initiatives.
Again, we want to thank you for interviewing for this position. We'll be in contact with you sometime after the final interview. Obviously, that interview will take place, as I indicated, on Thursday. So now we'll just take a time out to refresh our memories on this
Thank you for your consideration.
interview that we had.
Thank you.
But thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We do have some time. We do have 5 minutes left. If there are any aldermen that would like to ask a question, please feel free. We have an alderman.
Mary, just quick on your West Alice background. How long have you lived here? Have you lived here in the past? Did you go to school here? When I was going through, I really didn't see anything on that, and I didn't see the application, so I only saw the resume and the questions. So if you can just, your West Alice background.
Definitely. So I purchased a home here 5 years ago. So that's been my link to this community in particular. I completed my undergrad work in Milwaukee, and my career has been with Milwaukee Public Schools primarily. So I've been in this surrounding area for about 15 years now.
Where did you grow up? High school?
Sure. I grew up in Benton Harbor, Michigan, so Lower Michigan. I went to Michigan Lutheran High School for my first 2 years, and then my family relocated to Wisconsin, in Marinette, Wisconsin. I finished my high school years at Manitowoc Lutheran High School.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Any other alderman would like to ask for a question? All right. Thank you again. Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.